Hello, my name is Norman Fang from Norman's Orchid Nursery, and today's podcast, the topic will be, I'm going to share a little bit my own experiment from this January, and the result has been amazing, and I think I credit that for this new FCC that we received on this particular Paphiopedilum, Prince Edward of York. And this is the first bloom seeding, and it's still in, can we focus on this? It's still in the same moss and haven't been repotted for the last 4 years. And it will need to be repotted as soon as after this podcast. I'm going to do some hybridizing with them. But for those of you who has been following my channel, and the reason being that I got this large of my multi-floor in the moss. If it's not growing the lily zipper in the moss, it's not for everybody. It only work for me doesn't mean that it will work for Florida or different part of area. So always stick with the mix that work for you at your particular area. And many of you has been here last week for the Fail Fanatic Symposium. So you understand how dry and hot we can have in this area. So one of the things that and also, Southern California, we have been under the water restriction for years. So this is part of the experiment. We done that for about 4 or 5 years ago, starting to grow some of the Paphiopedilum in moss. Growing Paphiopedilum in moss, and of course you start with a quality moss, whether from Chile or New Zealand. Okay, this is very common. We go to Asia, you go to Japan, when they defrost the orchid, whether Cattleya, Paphiopedilum, even Maudii, they always start with the moss, even in Asia, because moss had this wonderful benefit. And first of all, it has pH of 4.0, very acid. And most of the water in our area, with the exception of well water, most of our city water are on the alkaline side. So for example, in my water here in the summertime, because we had to import a lot of water all the way from Colorado. By the time they come here, our pH is about 8.5. So just a plain water into the mix and the moss, and you do the catchment from the bottom and do a pH measurement. It's actually come across very, very comfortable, about 5.7 for them, and 5 point on the organic, the acid side, 5.7, 5.8 is actually a very optimum pH for a lot of the nutritional uptake for a lot of orchid. Plus, and another thing I think one of the judges at this plant, he was really surprised that he haven't been repotted for 4 years. And the trick is, remember my program, a teaspoon per gallon of water with dilution of 5 cents. Okay, this is the program. We do that once a month, remember? That will disinfect and kill any pathogen and of the pollen soil and pollen mix, whether it's bark or moss. So that way your pollen media will last 1 extra year, minimum 1 extra year. Even better if you go in the bark, because bark tend to have a lot of fungi around the base and around the root area. Okay, so in my career, I've been, being in Southern California, this is a very big Paphiopedilum country. So I have seen a lot of Paphiopedilum, a lot of Prince Edward York myself. So I have, and what really starts off, and being a very slow grower, and I was, when this one got a 92 point, it not only set a new standard, because most of the FCC on the Prince Edward York, anybody know what make Prince Edward York? It actually was registered, made over, the primary hybrid was made over in England. It's almost like the late, over 100 years ago. So there's lots of Prince Edward York over the course of, years, different combination of Prince Edward York. So when they have to maybe give it FCC, for example, they had to check all the previous record. Okay, this one here has longer petal. Most of them have 4 flowers. I think the record is the most have 5 flowers. This one had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this was in bud. So you actually had total of 6 flowers. So that is actually set a new standard. So I went back to my notebook. What have I done differently this year, starting January? And another thing is, most Prince Edward of York is finished by May. Okay, and this is almost August already, and this one here. And not only that, I do notice that this is actually the first flower was open in about late April. Okay, so it's actually the flower hold on really well. And look at this. Okay, the only difference, so it's a primary hybrid between Paphiopedilum and Rochaderianum. This one here. If you can actually type in Rochaderianum in my personal our YouTube channel, there's a segment on growing the Rochaderianum. But this is the king of the Lady Supper, another species from Indonesia. The Steneriana, I purposely did not cut off the flower, the dead flower of Steneriana. Look at it. Let's been there. Okay, this is Steneriana. Is the one that give you all this long petal. Okay, so the result is something in between. And what I noticed that this growing in the same bench as the rest of them. But when I look at my note under this, this is part of my experiment starting in January. Obviously everybody have a new year resolution. And last December, I was going through some of the research note when we were doing the research to get the optimum ratio for mega dry. And the mega dry was, many of you know before, it was tested in our nursery. We do not own the proprietary enzyme, right? It's owned by another company, but they do not know it was designed for corn and soybean. When they plant it on the Midwest, it's very stressful for the plant before they got the natural rain. If you've been to Chicago, right? They all need that rain for the first rain to get the corn and your soybean started. So in that period, it's very, very stressful on the plant. So that enzyme in mega dry is actually to stimulate the plant production of hormonal ratio, hormone. Okay, so in human we have male and female. Okay, in plant they have male and female also. In plant, the cytokinin is what we like female. Those are very responsible for flower count, the flower, and the male in plant or in orchid will be the auxin. Okay, that will produce a lot of root and foliage and cell division, for example. And so the research we did before, unlike other research, we were able to use 2,000 tissue culture fan analysis to get a lot of data. And so I was going through some of the note. Yes, we did kill 2,000 fan analysis. And the reason we do that, we can't do that 20 years ago because the tissue culture is not as readily available. Even if I was looking at some of the medicine, when they test the medicine, that's why they take so long for the medicine to go on the market, to be or any other pesticide to approve by USDA. They all had to test on whether it's a laboratory mice or rabbit. They're all different. But orchid, orchid is that research was really might be the first time that we can actually do it by tissue culture. There are 2,000 of the clone. They're not seeding. They're not even like corn. They all seed. There might be variation. So that way we can get the best data. One of the data on the old note, we noticed that they also, when the application to find out the optimum ratio for foliar application on the mega dry, there is a little experiment for what we call drenching. Drenching, that means water the plant, into the soil, but that is not the primary at that time because mega dry is not cheap, but not but it can be expensive. So, but it lasts a long time too. But there's a drenching on fan analysis was very interesting because we noticed that there is produce more spikes, thicker flower stem. Don't worry, I will get you another segment in August with the same experiment we did in January. So you still do your regular orchid fertilizer with normal orchid food and foliar application of mega dry. The only difference is we added, and I added, starting January, once a month. And the ratio is only a teaspoon, an ounce per gallon of water. So you don't have to use 3 ounces. When we do the foliar application, we use 3 ounces, right? There's a population of this. Obviously, I don't have a lot of Prince Edward York on mature size, so I think I did it when we only 3 plants. But not because of different maturity. This is the only one deflower. They had 2 more, is doing good. But I also noticed that from the Rothschild Terrier, this is also by drench. You notice this? I have total of this is also by drench. In additional drench, I have total of 3 shoots on this Rothschild Terrier. And Rothschild Terrier flower finished by February, so they have earlier stage. This one here, Cinderella, one of the species parent, did not get any of the drench. But I also noticed it had only 1 shoot, 1 grow only. So my next year's project, or I should start this summer, some of the mature side Cinderella, we're going to also set aside and do what we call a drench, extra benefit for them. So the result that I noticed for Prince Edward or York, look at this. In orchid judging, the flower stem is 5 point, and I think, obviously I cannot judge my own plant, but I think for if I would judge the plant myself, this one will give perfect 5 point. It actually do not need to stake the plant. The plant is actually as thick as a pencil. And this is first bloom seeding, by the way. It's about 6 years, 7 years old seed, first bloom seeding. So that's what one of my judges' friend was damn, Norman, what did you feed on them? I never see a first bloom Prince Edward or yolk. Most of them are first bloom. Even as good as Orchids, they only have 4 flowers. And that he got a first FCC. But this one has 5 flowers open at the time and the bud is open right now. Now, this is the course of over 3 months. So you notice that the flower quality is there. And being flowered this late in season have a disadvantage because hot. And so they usually, our thought, oh shoot, you know, the application, the drench, is really slow, make the flower spike development slower. So maybe that's what they were taking their time to grow slowly and take their time to develop. And I was worried that because it was late in season and hot, because last week it's 100 degrees and then the fan is running. Start 10 o'clock, 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning till like 9 o'clock at night. It was that hot. So the flower, I was worried that flower lasting quality might not be as good. Surprise. So that was the only difference that I grew. I had never seen 5 flower on my own personal Prince Edward yolk before this year. Okay, and from the same strain that we found this previous year, a year before. And another thing I want to share with you. So look at even though it had produced supporting so many flowers, it has this new growth is eager to come out on this side here. Okay, so I'm going to put this back here. Then, if this is not convincing enough, I'm going to the. So this is actually a lot of time when we. I know a lot of society member meeting is over and the show is coming up for next year. Do a research, do an experiment yourself. It was fun. It makes a difference. You know, when you go to an orchid meeting, the more flower, the bigger flower, the better color. You know, you're always going to get a blue ribbon. Okay. So you just water the plant. And on the market on my account, I only do it once a month. Okay. And in the morning, I make sure don't stay in the crown. Only 1 teaspoon or 1 ounce per gallon of dilution, not the 3 ounce dilution of the Mega Dry as the foliage application. You know, remember I always say less is more. Less is more. So at least the lady zipper is concerned, Paphiopedilum is concerned, that 1 ounce will well, and I have the same feeling that this is the ratio for drench. You know, you can put it on your small purple proportioner to drenching. You can do that on your Cattleya, for example. A lot of your fall blooming Cattleya, a lot of when they start to set up sheet, or when they start spiking, for example, setting up spiking, you can do that as a drench. Another good experiment, kind of fun to comparison. Okay, this is St. Triton, these two here. Oh, okay. All right. This is St. Triton. And I did a drench because it got sunburned. So what the Mega Dry does really well is when plant are stressed. Okay. Here is another St. Triton. I should go in the same area. You notice the difference? This side, the only difference is this side has the Mega Dry drench once a month at the ratio of 1 ounce per gallon of water. in addition to your regular routine. This side just only have the normal optimum orchid nutrient and the foliage application. It's good until you see this, the wow. I noticed that the leaf is stronger. The flower stem is also thicker by comparison. All right, so how are we doing so far? Sorry, they just, oh, I don't want to tip over. Okay. So at least this worked really well on the multi-floor lady zipper. And by all means, we do this, I think the ratio, I'm not sure is how good they are if they need it right before the year-round application. But it's really good. The reason I start in January, because January is when the mature bud, flower bud is initiating. Okay, so we start January, and then we stop in June. So that's what give me a 6-month period of experiment on this, because I know this is all booming size. And you see here, this side only 2 to 3 flower, and I think this because they are not meristem, so they're going to have different color. But I look at the size. One thing about we make it a drench because I think they've helped the root a lot better. You got not only the foliage application, but you also have the root application soak it up. So you almost like double delight, double shock. Okay, so this is what we call kind of pushing the plant, but do it with care. But you don't want to push the plant at the wrong time of the year. Is it legal? Of course it's legal. Any plant, the reason they get a FCC or AM, because they is what they call, if you look at all the good grower provide the optimum environment. When the plant environment is happy, the plant will, then the less stress, you give them good nutrient, this pesticide to reduce the pest infection, the plant is going to reward you with better flower. But I think this is the first time I'm very thrilled. Of course, this is not scientific, but it's just a really random horticulture experiment. If I'm, which is okay because obviously lady zipper is not meristem, so we cannot do a clone to do a research on that. And they also, the multi-floor grows so slow. But one thing for sure, and I will share this, I'm so happy to share this with you because this is my first FCC lady zipper. I have plenty of different FCC before, but to get a lady zipper, to get a first class certificate, and in Southern California, this is the big path country. It's very, very difficult, And so I'm just thrilled to want to share this information with everybody. And this is what, so you can start doing this right now, okay? But it's for not necessarily on the multi-floor, because the multi-floor will flower in next year. So, but you can, if you have any of your fall blooming Cattleya, the one that you're going to have fall blooming Cattleya, okay, now is the time. In addition to your regular avia, by Monday, a normal orchid nutrient, you water them down, and also Megathread application. Mark it on one of the calendar, okay? Maybe the same day or same week that you spray Megathread. Any extra one, a lot of time we make up, or most people say, oh, I don't have enough plant to use all the 1 gallon Megathread. And Megathread, you always have to use fresh. Well, dilute them, okay? Dilute them from the regular concentrated 3 ounce per gallon, okay? Just dilute it more, so approximately about 1 ounce, okay? Give it 3 times more the water volume, okay? And then just drench them. So anything like the reason for the drenching method, this is not new. A lot of these azalea growers do that right before the flower. A lot of these begonia grower, the Rex begonia, and also some of the tuber begonia, they do that because the bigger the flower, the more flower, that's why you're going to get the ribbon. Okay, so let's do this because so the fall blooming cattleya, you still can do that right now. So if you see a new shoot coming up by August, by fall will be mature. So you should get more flower bud development inside the sheet. Okay, and I think judging from the Paphiopedilum, because Paphiopedilum is a slow grower, you should able to get thicker flower stem. Okay. Yes. When the plant are happy, they are more well nutrition. You're gonna get bigger flower, and hopefully more flower count. Yes.
Donna Richards has a question.
Yes.
She's asking, as far as your drenching schedule, can you use the same ratio and schedule for phals and other species?
Yes. No, but Donna, for drenching, only 1 ounce. Cut it down. The 3 ounce per gallon for foliar spray, I do not recommend. Well, it's going to cost you more money. But I think, remember, my motto always less is more. Okay, you do foliar application 3 ounce per gallon. I use this 1 ounce method because from my old note, that's what's used on the Phalaenopsis. So I say if it work on the Phalaenopsis, because it will okay on the path because they are more same kind of environment, same kind of stress. I think with Cattleya or the Vanda, they probably can use higher ratio for drench, but this will be the next experiment that I will be doing. Okay, but at least remember, always less is more. It's always safer to use 1 ounce per gallon of dilution, and plus it will be more economical to use too. Okay. Any more question? Yeah, so a lot of, and guess what, guys? I will be busy do some adding the drench application to my novelty, the banana. Anything you have banana, you have emollients in the background, Venustum, Tetrapodus. These are the summer blooming. This is their season. They are spiking right now. I think let's start doing this. Let's see how much more flower, how much bigger the flower, maybe big. And some of you have take picture from previous year. Let's see if it get bigger flower. I think a lot of time get better color. I think, look at this color, brighter, deeper stripe, for example. This is the one that got really stressed from the sunburn. Okay, it toughening up, the plant is happy. And I know because because the also benefit from the extra megatrite drench also. All right. So I think so. Just follow whatever you're doing, and let's go back to do a little scientific, science high school science project. Okay. So don't put on everything that you have. Okay. All right. This is use with caution. Put it on couple plant. And I do know for sure the novelty Phalaenopsis will be a good subject to try. Don't do the drench method on your big standard Phalaenopsis because they're not spiking yet. Okay, so this is leaving alone. We do the drench. You add the drench method when the big white Phalaenopsis, the U Phalaenopsis type starts spiking in the fall. Okay, that I think that will make a difference. I know it make a difference, so I'm going to do a separate podcast. I have some with 3 to 4 spikes on them, a bigger flower on a crown, enormous mist. So I know that work. So if it work on the standard Phalaenopsis, guess what? I couldn't do it on in January on the novelty because novelty is still kind of resting. There's short day, long night, but right now is a good time to start, do some drench. Remember, 1 teaspoon per gallon of megathrite diluted solution. Just get 1 gallon bottle, that's 1 gallon volume. Dilute it and just water them, drench. You can do the same week as your 40s application, but just on the drenching, just do it once a month only. And let's do an experiment. One thing, whatever left on this one here, I'm gonna drench it on my tomato. I know I sprayed megathrite on my cherry tomato. It worked really well. Okay, we even spray. We use a whole sense proportioner. We spray one avocado tree, so we get a lot of avocado flower also. All right, so this is just want to share the experiment that we did, and you can have a lot of time this FCC, this cultural war, is all about providing not only the best growing environment, but also the culture, the plants happy. You can buy a FCC Cattleya clone or a FCC Phalaenopsis, but if you don't provide the optimum temperature requirement or the proper diet, they might not give you the potential. So this particular plant, I'm really happy to share with you the result. Look at that. I think the petals still, this is still stretching. I think this is the best of all parent. See, the flower stem is so strong. It got a best of all parent, bright color, and so this is a good remake of using different color parent, and so but you have to have good culture to make sure they get a good environment. And I think we onto something with this megathrite drench. So I expect next year, if you belong to any orchid society, you're gonna get more blue ribbon because you will have more flower and bigger flower, better color, and the flower gonna last longer for you, especially at the show. Okay, all right.